I'm getting off to a late start. It's like 5 o'clock, but I've been thinking a lot about the panels I've been using, and I really like the way they take the paint, but they're too small. I've been painting mostly on 11 by 14s when I go out and do landscapes or seascapes, and I'm kind of feeling like I want to do 16 by 20s, but the 16 by 20 canvas, it just feels different. It's different to paint on, and I'm not able to get the same effects as I get on the panels, the smaller panels. So I'm going to make some 16 by 20 panels. So part of doing that is figuring out how many I can cut out of a 4 by 8 sheet of masonite. So I kind of sketch it out like this, and you know, I've got 48 inches here, 96 here, and I figure I can get 10 16 by 20s per 4 by 8 sheet, and that would mean they're about $1.20 a piece. Heading off to Lowe's to get some masonite, and then I'm going to head back here and see if I can cut them up before it gets dark. Okay, one of my tips for stress reduction is park at the far end of the parking lot. It's a short walk, I mean it's like a little extra walk, but you don't get door dings and you don't have to hassle with like parking in tight spaces. Okay, so it looks like I've got some choices this time. Usually there's only whiteboard that's used for like dry erase markers, but now they've got actual masonite, so I'll show you the choices. This is the whiteboard. It's used for, you know, like dry erase markers, and it's painted on one side. It's $13 $13.57 a sheet. And then masonite, this masonite is only $8 a sheet, so I think I'm gonna get 2 of those. Okay, so this is enough for 20 panels, so I think this will be good for an experiment, and then if I like them, I can always come back and make more. Got to go pay for them first, and then I can bring them to the saw. So I just heard this loud crashing noise, and I look back and there's like, the wind is like blowing carts around the parking lot, and they're bashing into cars. Oh my God, I gotta get out of here before my car gets dented up. Sometimes when I've been working hard, my brain doesn't function properly and I forget things. Like I went to the grocery store today, and you know, I carefully walked around and shopped, and then I got home and I was like, oh, I forgot to get almonds. Oh my God, I also forgot to get, you know, oatmeal. And it's just, the list kept going on. It's like I only got half of the things I actually needed. It's times like that that I know that I'm like overworked. Okay, so the sun is quickly setting, but I think I have enough time to cut out these panels, so I'm gonna set up the saw and give it a go. Okay, so that went really quickly. I think I cut them out in just over a half hour. They're actually pretty light. I thought masonite's kind of heavy, so I thought they might be, the panels might be kind of, you know, too heavy to be carrying around, especially long distances doing plein air, but they're not heavy at all, actually. They came out to be 91 cents a piece. And I still had leftover masonite for some smaller panels. I was also worried that they wouldn't be, that there'd be kind of a warp to them. And I mean, it's pretty flat. Panels are great because, you know, you could store 100 of them. It wouldn't even take up, it'd be heavy, but it wouldn't take up a lot of room. I have boxes and boxes of paintings. Maybe what we'll do for fun is just like do a random, I'll like reach in and pick out one from one of the boxes, and then we can talk about it. So I have no idea what's gonna come out, so let's give it a go. Okay, so random painting, here we go, I promised. Okay, this is September 2005, and it was a plein air piece, and let's see here. I had been painting exactly 2 years at this point, and here it is. Let's see if I can show you. I don't want to get a lot of glare. Anyway, yeah, that's a 12, this is an 11 by 14, and So this painting, I remember this painting was done down in Santa Barbara County. It was like kind of North County. I'm not even sure what that area is called. So I was down there with family, and I just would go out early in the morning and go painting, you know, go plein air painting. It's very stiff, you know. I'm much more fluid at this point. I mean, I've been painting 13 more years. But yeah, it's a very kind of stiff painting. It's kind of fun. Let's do another one. Okay, this was from around the same time. I remember, like, I woke up early and I went out of the house and I wanted to paint something in that was, I only had a short amount of time. My daughter was very young at the time, and so she and her mom were sleeping in, and so I thought, okay, I'm gonna go out and try to do a painting. Now I thought, oh, this is kind of cool because it's like this Spanish style building and there was the mountains in the background, and I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. And I wasn't, frankly, I wasn't being too picky. I just wanted to paint. And you know, it's funny, I remember what happened with this one. This is the first time I ever had somebody, you know, I was on the El Camino, which is kind of a busy road, and so I had set up out there, and I was a little nervous still to set up in public. I was kind of embarrassed. This was kind of, that would be more, there was a very public area, and there was a sidewalk going by there and stuff, and within a few minutes, well, probably within 10 minutes, I had some guy come up, a young guy in his 20s, smoking a cigarette, and he talked to me through the whole thing, and I didn't have the heart to kind of, I mean, he pretty much told me his life story. And, you know, it was kind of a tragic affair, so I just felt like this guy needs somebody to listen to. I mean, I didn't mind that so much as I did the cigarette, to be honest with you, but in any case, I finished the painting, and should I do one more? Okay, I'll do one more. Okay, so this one is July of 2006. So this one I'd been painting for 3 years. And I remember it being kind of a groundbreaker because I painted that shiny metal, and I kind of thought, wow, that really worked, and that was kind of a big deal. And so this is just some industrial scene in South San Francisco, which is not far from here. I just kind of like the idea of that metal truck and everything. And yeah, and so, you know, that's not a bad painting at all, actually. So yeah, like I say, at the time, it was one that really stood out for me. Like, most of my paintings weren't working still at that point, and this was one that I felt like at least there was some cool stuff going, like the figure in it. Like, I felt pretty good that the guy sitting there came out pretty good, and the truck I thought was kind of, you know, thought it was well drawn. So yeah, so that's it. Just we can, you know, maybe I'll do that periodically, dig into the boxes, and especially I'll show you some of my very first paintings, which would be like, say, 2 years before these. But by this time I had been working really hard for 2 years. I think that the biggest evolution actually happens in the first couple years. You know, you learn a lot fairly quickly. At least if you work, you know, for me, I was working at it. I remember I'd be out here in the studio. It wasn't kind of set up the way it is now, but I'd just come out here and I'd paint, and I was still working. I had like a 7 o'clock shift at DHL. I was a driver for them. And so I'd wake up, or I'd stay out here sometimes, and I just would keep going, and it'd be like 3 in the morning, and I knew, oh God, I gotta get to bed, because when I wake up, you know, I only have like, what is that? Oh, I had to be there at 7, so sometimes I'd have 3 hours of sleep, and my job was super active because I was a courier, and I walked. You know, I had a van, but I would like park and then deliver, then park and then deliver. And since it was in San Francisco, you know, I didn't do much driving. I was doing a lot of walking and then up and down elevators in buildings. So it was kind of a tiring job. So to go and do that job with 3 hours of sleep was rough. But, you know, I had the passion, you know, it was like I was hooked. So anyway, so that's it. We'll do some more of that. I'll dig into the boxes some more. I've got lots and lots of boxes of stuff here. So I'll definitely do that again. Like I said, maybe some of the really early stuff, like the really beginner stuff. Anyway, as usual, thank you guys for hanging out. And, you know, again, shout out to my Patreon supporters. Much appreciated. Helps a lot. So if you want to help support the channel, there's a link to Patreon to my Patreon page in the description below. And other than that, I'll see you in the next video, which who knows, maybe tomorrow. Peace.